Attack on Titan chapter 129. I must say, as I've previously said many times, I don't believe Attack on Titan has any bad chapters. It kind of sets the standard of what a monthly magazine should be, which is much I can say for another monthly manga Boruto. But yeah, this chapter, wow, really plays on the heartstrings, especially with the deaths at the end, man. So the chapter starts off with Armin and Connie doing their thing, um, basically where we left off last chapter. And I thought to myself, well, it's a bit interesting because I thought if you shoot someone in the head like at that close range, surely then like their brains will be like splattered everywhere and the head will be bust open. But it seems not. Maybe it has something to do with the type of gun that they are using. And of course, the rest are fending off against Flock and his crew. Now, there's something about what Hanji said, I find kind of interesting. She says something along the lines of it will take 4 days to destroy the entire continent. I don't understand how she would know something like that. As a matter of fact, the logic behind the Titans crossing from Paradise to the continent of where Marley is kind of really strange because the sea is very deep, and I don't see Titans walking across. I mean, these are kind of mindless Titans who are following orders. I don't see how they're going to walk across the ocean just to get to that place unless they can swim somehow, and then that would look extremely strange. And imagine how it would feel for people in Liberia seeing not just titans but huge as colossal titans that are swimming, so they seem to have some sort of intelligence, just swimming towards the island just to kill all of you. Like, that must be their equivalent of like Armageddon, like the last day of humankind, if you will, in the end times, in other words. Anyway, back to the chapter. So they're trying to fly a plane to get away from this place. But guess what? That's not going to happen because it takes about a day or probably half a day to get the plane up and running. And guess what? That's not even an option for these niggas because guess what? They ain't got that much time because here's the thing. They're in enemy territory as it is. And the Titans that they have enemies who are specifically anti-Titan, or an army which is built to fight against Titans. Not only that, they also have reinforcements. So half a day is not even an option. Most they'll probably have is like 30 minutes. First part is, there's no point of them even rushing to Liberia because by the time they get there, everyone would have already put everyone in a recovery position. So the game plan then pretty much becomes, get these niggas off the island to a nearby city wherein they can finally set up the plane and go to the destination. Now, of course, that's easier said than done because both Annie and Reiner are getting their wig split, bro. Of course, they've got the mighty power of the Titans, but unfortunately on Paradise, that means absolutely nothing. To be honest with you, if it wasn't for Mikasa, this would have been done over and done with, or this would have been over a while ago. Reiner and Annie are literally getting decimated left and right. And it's a bit kind of sad, because back in the day, you'd think if someone transformed to the Titan, that's it, hell breaks loose. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to fight these niggas. Like, these people seem so immortal. Now that they've been reduced to almost absolutely nothing, like too intelligent, not just random Titans, these are intelligent Titans have been reduced to absolutely nothing. Like, it means nothing on Paradise. It comes to show how hard or how quick, how powerful the armies have become throughout these years. All these sacrifices, all these dead bodies, all these different resolves, all blood, sweat and tears that has led up until this moment, to the point where they stand on top of their fears, to the point where humans have become more of a threat to them than the Titans. That them, humankind themselves, have become more of a threat to them than their biggest fear. They flipped it. They flipped it. You have to respect the progress. You have to respect the power. You have to respect the struggle of this army. They're destroying these Titans that almost destroyed their existence a couple of years ago. To be able to reverse the role and treat these enemies like they're bugs under their feet is quite incredible. Now, of course, Falco notices that these two are in big trouble, so he decides to help them out. Now, of course, that's not going to go right because you know from Eren's experience that whenever you transform into a Titan for the first time, you do not necessarily have full control of that Titan. And of course, Armin is kind of useless right now because, first of all, he's been shot in his face. So he has to recover before he can even transform into a Titan. The second thing is his Titan is not even suitable for this moment because the minute he transforms, even the people he's trying to protect will be caught into the blast. So unfortunately, even if he was recovered, there was nothing and absolutely nothing he could have done to help out his colleagues. And just as you think things can't get even worse, guess what? Again, there's a train coming with reinforcements, but fortunately for them, for some reason, out of nowhere, that train gets stopped. And we find out towards the end of the chapter that the person who did this sabotage was no one other than Commander Keith Shadis, the man himself. And then finally, Falco transforms. And I wonder how he's able to do it straight away because Eren really struggled to make this transformation happen, but then he suddenly knows somehow how it kind of works. Maybe it's because of his warrior training and he's probably seen it beforehand. So he kind of understands how it works some way or another. And we also finally get the design of his Titan. Kind of looks like an ape with the Grinch. And here's the thing about his transformation. The thing is, it has fur. I don't know whether it's on just his arms or if it's just his whole body, but that kind of takes away from the Beast Titan in a bit, doesn't it? Because the Beast Titan was the only one with fur. I mean, it was its main characteristic. That's how you identify the Beast Titan. But then now, like this one has one as well. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of really confusing. And of course, as well, I expected the jaw to be way bigger than that. I mean, if you look at Gilead's Titan, the jaws were more defined. And it seems as if this one is also slightly bigger than the other jaw Titan. I'm not exactly sure, but it seems way bigger than Ymir's and Porco's. It kind of reminds me of the Grinch in a way. Maybe that's the kind of design that Isayama was going for. So of course Falco does his thing and destroys or tries to kill as many of those people as possible. And of course Pete tries to kill Flock, but he misses as Flock dodges, and Flock decides to go for the ship because guess what? Even if Peak and all those other guys manage to kill his squad, if he destroys the ship, the plan would have failed. In other words, if Flock and his team die there anyway, since the ship is destroyed, it would allow the reinforcements by that time to catch up with them. So by doing that in a way, I think Flock had pretty much at that point accepted that he was going to die, pretty much accepted his death and that this shot was his only one way to complete his mission. But before Flock is able to do that, they got him. It's gotta be this bitch. They got him. They got him. It's a good thing, I guess, for Gabi to kill him, but then again, you still feel like Gabi is still a bitch. Like, that hasn't gone away. That feeling still persists. Gabi there's just a straight resentment for her right there. I mean, his Flock needed to be stopped, but at the end of the day, you still resent Gabi for doing it. Like, why is it always her interfering with the most important? I don't know. Mikasa then comes in and does her thing and slices this nigga's head in two. I don't understand, like, how is this happening? She's out here giving all these people cosmetic surgery. She must have some superhuman strength because I'm sure even if you had a sword, there is no way you can slice someone's head into two like that. That must require like some incredible strength to be able to do that. Or maybe I'm wrong. Margarth then rescues Falco from his Titan form because of course it's his first transformation, right? So he can't kind of distinguish between friend or foe. And then Margarth decides to stay behind. Shadis then comes and saves Margarth from being killed, and then obviously lets him know that he's the one who caused the sabotage, right? So, and then they go inside the ship, and this is where the most important part of this whole chapter happens. We found out the reason Keith betrayed Paradise is simply because he felt like that was the right thing to do. So at that point, it was only a matter of when he was going to die. And with Margarth, we find out that this guy seems as if he's just not a monster as we previously thought after all. I mean, at the end of the day, they're both soldiers. They're just following orders, you know. It turns out that it was actually his higher-ups that told him to tell the kids to go kick down the walls. He wasn't the one orchestrating these comeback maneuvers. He was actually ordered to do it. Whether it's right or wrong, they don't have a saying in the matter. You see what I'm saying? Because MacArthur is not just any random soldier. He's quite high up. So whether he believes it's morally right or wrong, he has to go through with it. He has to make the plan happen. And it's kind of good to know that he felt more for his comrades. He saw them as more than devils, and he even wished for them to have normal, happy lives, living as ordinary citizens. And this is probably why he's sacrificing himself, so that in that case, that may happen in the future. Sacrificing himself so their dreams of living normal lives can be a reality. They both exchange names, and then that's it. That's the end. That's the end of Keith, and that's the end of a man we can now call great, Theo McGrath. In the end, these two legendary men died for what they believe was right, not looking back and having absolutely no regrets. And hopefully these two men's names will be etched into history and not be forgotten. This kind of reminds me of the moment in the Fourth Shinobi War in Naruto, where the headquarters was bombed with Ino's dad and Shikamaru's father, right? Such an emotional ending, and I must admit, not many mangas have been able to get me or get many people to this kind of emotional point. And me, myself, as a person, I'm not quite an emotional person. So for this manga chapter to get me like this, it must be really something. Isayama has outdone himself yet again. Now this also makes you think that in this real world, all these past wars that have happened, it's not necessarily because we really hate each other. Sometimes people just feel it's all a matter of point of view perspective. People feel as if they're fighting for what they believe is right. I mean, if you look at this, Flock and his team also died without no regrets for what they thought was the right thing, as well as these guys are also fighting for what they believe is right. So it's all a matter of perspective, which is unfortunately sad. These are the terrors of war. These are the realities of war. And this is why I'm kind of really grateful to be reading Attack on Titan, because it's taught me so much that there's always good and bad on both sides. There is not necessarily always one answer to these questions. And that's where this chapter ends now. I really want to know what you guys thought about this chapter, because this is just, it's really emotional. It really is. But McGrath, I have mad respect for this guy now, because this guy was supposed to be leading an invasion against Paradise, but he's ended up sacrificing his life, not just for his colleagues, but also for people like Hanji, people he was mortal enemies with just a couple of days ago, able to develop some trust and development in such a short amount of time, to the point where he feels like they're good enough to survive without him. They're good enough to take on the mission, to continue and march forward without him, to the point where he believes that they'll do the right thing without him, that they don't need him to do the right thing, and trusting Hanji to lead that team so then he can go to his grave with no regrets. That commands mad respect. I really have a lot of respect for McGrath right now. Rest in peace. A character who I wanted dead so badly, and now that he's about to die, I want the exact opposite for him. Like, what a plot twist and turn of events. Because these are characters you just think you won't give a damn about, and then... Anyway, guys, click on the left to find out about the oranges of the devils in Black Clover, and click on the right to find out about how Kaguya might have possibly defeated Ishiki Otsutsuki in Boruto. I have nothing more to say. Bye.